Find a comfortable position. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and take yourself to your laboratory level with the 3-to-1 and the 10-to-1. When you get to your laboratory level, say a welcome prayer or greeting with your counselors, and then ask your counselors to give you a tour of your laboratory, help improve the communication among the three of you. The laboratory is your creative space. It's a private space where you can create anything that you desire, as long as you have a sincere desire to do so. So awaken in yourself the sincere desire that whatever you're going to do in your laboratory tonight, you're going to do with intention, sincere desire, and an expectation of knowing that the outcome will and is happening, that the outcome you desire is so. If at any time you notice that there are some doubts that come to mind, just cross them out and throw them into the garbage can. Jose Silva says faith is a very important ingredient in creating the outcomes that we want. We heard that the DNA inside of us is a very complex system, but this complex system is identical for every person. It is only the expression of certain genes which makes the difference in who we are and how our bodies are, how we feel, the health concerns we have or don't have. And that by upregulating or downregulating the genes, that is, we increase or open up the tap or strengthen the gene, we upregulate it. And if we downregulate it, that is, we turn it off or close the tap or let it flow less, we actually improve, or not improve, we decrease the expression of that gene. And it is the expression of certain genes which make us who we are. 23,000 genes in every cell. So many choices, so many levers and switches to turn on and off. You don't need to know what they all mean. You don't need to know how they all work. All you need is a sincere desire and a strong intention to make a change that is positive in your life, physically in your body, and to create the well-being, the health that you desire. Now clear your mind, looking up on your mental screen together with your counselors. Ask, what is it that I would like to improve in my health and well-being? And then allow the answer to come. Whatever pops up first is the right answer, is the answer that is most specific and most important to you right now. Don't judge it. Don't try to figure it out in any more detail. Just accept it as that as being the right thing for you to do, to work on right now, tonight in this laboratory, on this meditation. So now bring to mind, you can ask yourself the mental question or your counselors, what is the first step that I should do in order to improve this part of my life, to improve my health and well-being in this area? And then clear your mind and wait for the answer. Whatever answer comes, take action immediately. You could imagine in your laboratory, in the area where the medical equipment and medicines are, you could imagine a large switchboard or a big touch screen where you can move and change the numbers and buttons, switch things on and off. Or you can imagine something more simple, just a simple switch inside that turns on health and well-being, or perhaps different organs in your body, or different parts of your body. Or perhaps you have a dimmer switch somewhere where you can increase the light or increase the expression of a certain gene, or you can decrease the expression of a certain gene with a simple dimmer switch inside your laboratory. Or maybe it's just on your phone. And all you need to do is pull up the app and choose the appropriate dimmer switch or swiping mechanism in order to create the desired outcome in your body. Now imagine a cell in front of you. Imagine it's up there on your mental screen. And now, like you did with the house and the wall and the metals and the plants, you're now going to enter this cell. And as you enter this cell, you're going to explore all the different aspects of the cell, whatever it is that for you makes sense. So you can imagine going into a cell by expanding the cell that you can visualize. Increase the size of that cell to as big as the room that you're in, or even bigger. Or you can shrink yourself, a tiny little piece, and you can imagine yourself in that cell going in. Imagine yourself going into the cell. That big purple part, the nuclear envelope, the nucleus. Imagine yourself going into that section, that part of the cell first, into the nucleus. It houses the cell's DNA. It acts as the control center for all cellular activities. What does it feel like? Practice using those 4 sensing techniques. Feel the temperature inside the nucleus. Get an expression and a feeling of what the light is like inside the nucleus. Is it light or dark? Imagine yourself making a fist and knocking on the side of the nucleus, the nuclear envelope, that membrane enclosing the nucleus. And wait for a sound or feedback to give you a sense of what it's like. What sound do you hear? Now smell. What does it smell like in the nucleus of this cell? Now, as you come out of the nucleus, you're going to go into the mitochondria. It's often called the powerhouse of the cell. It's like the power plant where the energy is made, generated. And as you go into the mitochondria, also do these 4 tests. Test for temperature. What is the temperature like inside the mitochondria? Test for light, intensity, and color. What is the light and the intensity and color like inside the mitochondria? Now make a fist and knock on the side of the mitochondria, on the wall. And then listen for some sound, reflective sound. What does it sound like? And now smell. What does it smell like inside the mitochondria? The more you can imagine, whatever way you can imagine, create subjective points of reference for you, which you can use at any point in the future. Now, as you come out of the mitochondria, let us continue along the cell to another area. Let's go into the Golgi apparatus. The Golgi apparatus modifies, sorts, and packages proteins for secretion from the cell. It sounds like it's the sewage system, cleaning out the cell. And as you go in, test the temperature. What is the temperature like inside the Golgi apparatus? Now test for light, intensity, and color. Now make a fist and knock on the wall of the Golgi apparatus. What does it feel like? Now smell. Test for smell. What does it smell like inside the cell? Now, as you come out of the Golgi apparatus, walk towards the cell wall, towards the edge of the cell. Get in contact with the cell membrane. The cell membrane is a selectively permeable barrier that regulates the movement of substances into and out of the cell. Now that you're in the cell proper, what is the temperature like? Now test for light, intensity, and color. What is the light, intensity, and color like? Now make a fist and knock on the cell wall, the cell membrane. What is the reflective sound? What does it sound like? And now smell. What does the cell proper smell like? The material inside the cell. Now, as you continue to move along the cell, within the cell, notice what it's like to move around. Is it easy or hard? Does it feel like you're walking or does it feel like you're swimming? What sensations do you have? Perhaps you're going to bump into the different parts of the cell. You might bump into the ribosomes, which are the small structures responsible for synthesizing protein. You may bump into the lysosomes, which are membrane-bound organelles containing enzymes that break down waste products and cellular debris. Cytoplasm is what they call that material, that gel-like fluid inside the cell. Continue to travel through the cell, anything that gets your attention, just stop and explore. At any time, you can ask questions. What is this? What am I doing here? You can also ask your counselors for help at any time. What does this do? You have all the access to all the answers. All you need to do is have a sincere desire, curiosity to learn and to expand. If at any time you notice something that may not be working or functioning perfectly, take action and make the change, adjust it, so that you can upregulate or downregulate any genes that are there in the cell. And remember to give the information to the cell to transfer that information so that the other cells will function properly as well. Cells function best together when they're tightly in a community. They will communicate with each other. When cells are packed together, then they reproduce quickly, happily. The cells are happy. Be happy with them. The expression of the gene decides. If you have inflammation in your body which you want to decrease, you can imagine turning down the dimmer on the inflammation gene. More powerful, though, is to focus on the outcome that you want. Perhaps you want to move more freely, more fluidly in your body. You could imagine turning up the gene that's responsible for that. And you will upgrade. You'll open the tap. You'll turn up the volume of that gene expression. Imagine any apparatus in the laboratory that can help you to change the expression of the genes in a way that for you makes complete sense, is believable. Remember, the DNA blueprint is there. It's there for everyone. And the proteins do all the work anyway. You just need to tell them what to do. And research is showing, although just starting in this field, that just focusing on the outcome, focusing on the health or the feeling or the wellness that you desire, is itself enough to improve the expression of that gene. And if you're having difficulty improving or changing the expression of a certain gene, if it's not showing up for you as easily as you'd like, then clear your mind and visualize someone else and imagine changing the expression of the gene in that person to help them move toward the health and well-being that they desire. The more you help others, the more you improve the health of others through the practice of visualization, gene expression, upgrading or downgrading, downregulating or upregulating the genes. Creates the blueprint on your mind, which then reflects onto your body. Everything you focus on, whether it is for yourself or others, becomes the blueprint for you. Feel free to help others for the health, the healing that you give others, that you do for others, will be reflected on you. Continue enjoying your time inside that cell. Know that there are millions and millions and billions and trillions of cells inside of you. They all communicate with one another. And at any time, you can go in deeply, connect with the cell, learn about what's going on, take that information and adjust it, express it differently. So the right genes are upregulated, because that makes all the difference. Now come out of the cell and visualize up on your mental screen a person or persons whom you want to do some healing for, helping. And you can imagine them up on your screen, perhaps, and to the right or left of the screen, you can imagine knobs or switches which will help to regulate and upregulate and downregulate different genes so that they'll be expressed differently, and see how that person's health, happiness, and joy improve as you adjust and manipulate the correct knobs, levers, buttons, and so on. Our bodies are a symphony of intelligence, regulated by the DNA, and strengthened or weakened by your mind. By focusing on the outcomes that you wish to have in your life, that reflection of mind will be reflected in the body or in the outside world. Jose Silva says all you need is a sincere desire to do so, to help yourself or help others. Every time you function at these levels of the mind, you'll receive beneficial effects physically and mentally. You may use these levels of the mind to help yourself, to help your loved ones, and to help any human being who needs help physically or mentally. You always use these levels of the mind in a constructive, creative manner for all that is beneficial and positive, and this is so. You will continue to take part in constructive and creative activities to make this a better world to live in, so that when you move on, you will have left behind a better world for those who follow. You will consider the whole of humanity, depending on their ages, as fathers or mothers, brothers or sisters, sons or daughters. You are a superior human being. You have greater understanding, compassion, and patience with others. Now clear your mind. Thank your counselors for the work that they've done here with you. Before you leave, you can always ask for them to take on some job or task for you while you're gone. Remember, your counselors are there all the time and ready to help and provide information for you at any time. You can also take a moment or two to ask them to focus on some work that you've asked of them in the past and see where they stand. And then you thank your counselors, say a farewell prayer or greeting with them, and come out of your laboratory with the 1 to 10 and the 1 to 3. Take your time.